Good morning to Little Rock Baptist Church. I would like to give an honor to God, who is the head of my life, to Pastor Henry, First Lady Dr. Henry, church, family, and friends. I am both humbled and honored to be given the opportunity to speak at Pastor Henry's 14th anniversary. This is a special occasion for an honorable man of God. My name is Christopher Dent. I was born and raised in Bushwick, Brooklyn. I'm an only child. I served as an NYPD police officer for over 20 years. I recently retired in 2019 and continue to thank God for my life, health, and strength. I've been faced with quite a bit of death in my line of work. However, there is no preparation for the pain and sorrow one faces when you lose many family members. I lost many very close family members. On November 11th, 2021, I found my favorite uncle unresponsive in his bedroom. I made every effort to revive him to no avail. He had suffered a fatal heart attack. In my line of work, I revived many people, but I could not save my uncle. Even if you've been through this before, death of a loved one hurt so bad. This was a bit too much for me, so I went into deep prayer, and I buried myself into work, and I kept to myself. I recall one day after praying, I noticed my mother looking at me, and I told my mother, Mom, I'm okay. She looked at me and said, Son, you're not okay. So my mother called me and she suggested Pastor Henry. Pastor Henry drove all the way from Connecticut just to speak to me. All the way from Connecticut just to speak to me. During my meeting with Pastor Henry, I was amazed at his insight, warm and caring spirit. It was as if God sent me an angel from heaven to help me put my feelings, emotions, pain, and thoughts in the proper perspective. Pastor Henry is a great leader of God. Why I say that? Pastor came in there, was humble. How you doing, Chris? He just was down to earth and normal. We address how testimonies and setbacks come from our tests in life and that God is always there. However, there are no guarantee, specific or same outcome when faced with death. We spoke about positive, negative outcomes. No matter which direction the meeting took, Pastor Henry was always calm and understanding. We also discussed how the Lord fills you with confidence to know that you do not have to carry the load alone, and that God increases one's power when you are having a weak period, which I was. I felt that Pastor used extended godly skills to build on what I already knew. He skillfully tailored the sessions just for me, while always acknowledging that my pain was real. Like, I looked into his eyes. He knew I was hurting. I cried in front of him. And he said, Chris, it's okay. Pastor Henry never came across having all the answers. Not at all. Instead, I felt he wanted me to reach into my inner strength and deal with the more deeply and clearly. Pastor Henry is a great listener and a very wise man of God. I will always be thankful to him. My heart is filled with gratitude. I look forward to a continued working relationship with Pastor Henry. Now, my topic of discussion this morning will be, and it was tough, but I chose this one because I think this describes me the best. Mastering manhood through responsibility. As a child, I lived a somewhat sheltered life, someone considered a privileged life. I was blessed to be raised by a caring, kind, loving, and giving mother and father. I attended church, I attended good schools, went to summer camps, took summer vacations, wore brand name clothes. I had loving grandparents, uncles, aunts, host of cousins that were always there for me. Yet I still had a yearning to be accepted by my peers. My mother was very overprotected, very, and rarely wanted me to be outdoors. She allowed me to play organized sports, so sports was my passion and comforter. Thank you, Lord, it paid off. I was the captain of my high school basketball team, and I was awarded a full basketball scholarship to the University of Buffalo. In spite of all I just said, as long as I can remember, I always wanted a brother or a sister, since it seemed like that wasn't happening. My mother, that's not happening. Instead, I prayed to God that when I got older, I wanted 3 children. Well, God definitely granted my request. However, I was not being responsible, and my children are not from the same woman. I know I had the responsibility of loving, caring, providing for, and meeting the needs for my 3 children, which I welcome, but I must say it definitely wasn't easy. However, manhood to me is first being a good human being, working hard, being respectful, and responsible. So that's what I learned to do. In spite of my bumps in the road, I had a good role model, which was my father. My father would give a person a shirt off his back. He cared deeply for family and community. He always displayed respectful relationships and loyalty for me to see at a very young age. My father was the major influence in my life. This is why I believe mistakes along the way taught me invaluable lessons. Allow me to explain. I was perhaps 19 or 20 years old and attended a party with some people from the neighborhood. My cousin kept telling me he had a bad feeling. Chris, let's go home. Cousin, let's go home. But I went anyway, and I ended up getting hurt really bad. Really bad. And that was a lesson learned. Mastering manhood by responsibility. You must be careful of the people you listen to. Everyone does not have your best interests at heart. Some people do not want you to succeed. Some people are envious of what God has in store for you. Others want to stop your progress. It's another lesson learned. Healthy manhood does not just include being physically brave. It's knowing how to brave fear in life. Fear of failing, fear of not being accepted. Thus, when I became a NYPD police officer, I was somewhat unsure of my footing, so I put God first. God helped me to realize that all officers ahead of me were once in my shoes. God wanted me to remain calm and stay focused. So I applied for the job because I knew I wanted to make a positive difference for my children as well as the younger and older people in my community. Pros and cons. Some people saw me as a courageous police officer. To others, I was a sellout. That was okay because I had the responsibility of standing up and being a positive voice in the community. I also used my talent to make a difference, and that was through sports. Then I ran the PAL League, Police Athletic League. Had the young boy taking them to the Knicks games, the Nets games, soccer, flag football, anything to keep them off the streets. I used to go to the school, speak to the gang members. They never knew who I was. I always wanted to go in plain clothes because I wanted to speak to them first. And then they felt me. But then when I told them what I did, he was like, wow, he's a cop. No, I'm a black man first. Speaking knowledge. And NYPD, it's my job. I followed in my father's footsteps and started basketball and football teams in the community. Every opportunity presented, I spoke at public schools, after schools. You know, the principal asked me to come, assistant principal. I spoke to the kids in the train station at Broadway Junction. You know, I patrol East New York, Brownsville. I also learned that mastering manhood and responsibility goes hand in hand. How? By just being a respectful and caring and responsible human being. Your life can be filled with meaning and satisfaction, regardless of what career you choose, as long as you display dignity and respect for yourself and others. Well, in closing, I will leave you with this. My belief in God, my hard work and efforts, and dedication paid off. Currently, we have 13 police officers that are from Bushwick, and all 13 joined the force after me. I didn't know what my father said, you a leader. I didn't understand that. When I became a police officer, you know, you a sellout. Now it was 13 after me. Now if they'd have listened to me, they would have been retired like me right now too. I just want to thank Pastor Henry, Dr. Henry, my mother, you know, Little Rock Baptist Church, family and friends. It was such an honor to be here. Such an honor. And I thank Pastor Henry. Every day, that one talk with Pastor Henry made me a stronger man. I was already stronger, but it made me stronger. And Pastor Henry said, it's all right to cry. So I let it out now. By myself, I be home, let it out, and I feel better. And I just want to thank Pastor Henry. It was such an honor. Thank you.